Hello everyone, welcome back. I'm Dr. Swati Gupta from Board Aspirants. In this video, I'm going to give you some valuable information about DSOs. The reason I'm making this video is because a lot of D3s, D4s, friends of my friends, they're often asking about how it's like to be working at a DSO, from my own experience or like or my friend's experience, how it's been. So I just wanted to clarify a few things about working at DSO, but be mindful that some information might or might not be same as working at all the DSO. So you cannot literally generalize everything that I'm telling you here. But yes, some of the things would be very similar when you decide to work at a DSO. And in no way this is about this video is about telling you that DSOs are good or DSOs are bad, but just an information from my own personal experience and from what I've heard from my friends who are working at DSOs. And also this video is not going to be comparing comparing the private offices with the DSO. All I'm telling you is that what exactly are DSOs, since I'm getting a lot of questions about what are DSOs. Okay, so DSOs are a chain of clinics, right? Like a corporate owned clinics, and they have multiple clinics in their wing. So some DSOs are like they own like maybe six others tiny DSOs in their wing. So one big DSO, and they've acquired like 6 7 chains of different clinics, and now they're a big corporation, right? So what makes DSOs a little bit different from a private office? As like I said, it's not a comparison, but just one thing that is different would be maybe one dentist, right? Who's running multiple clinics, right? And it's not managed by a corporate. So what's happening here is the dentist himself might be having an associate dentist in a private office scenario. Okay, you have a dentist and he has an associate dentist, or that dentist in himself or herself are the one who are managing the finance part of the clinic. Also, it doesn't really matter if they have 5 clinics or 6 clinic or 1 clinic, but in a DSO it's a corporate owned, right? So a company is actually managing the financial part. You as a dentist are working in an office, and all you are doing is taking care of the patients, right? So that's a huge difference. But coming down to the basics of in working in a DSO. So DSO usually will have a regional manager. A regional manager is someone who's probably running like 6 7 clinics or 10 clinics, depending on the how big the DSO is, managing the clinics in that region. You might or might not meet that regional manager. Then you have an office manager. An office manager is one who's running your office, and you should be very careful when choosing a DSO or a place, a location, right? The reason being, now, why is there office manager? For that reason, the whole corporate is being run, right? I mean, they need someone to manage clinics, to manage the financial aspects, so put an office manager. Now, your office managers can be either very aggressive in the sense, okay, they know that we have production goals. Usually every clinic will have a production goal. Even dental offices, private dental offices have production goals, and so the corporate also have production goals. Now, you might or might not be told about the production goal. It's an office manager who's running the show in terms of, okay, we need this much money, or we are supposed to make at least this much money every week or every day. That's the production goal. And when I said that the office manager can be aggressive or kind of chill about it, means that some are very particular that we have to make this much. Now, if they have to make a certain amount of money, we all know who's making the money. As a dentist who is making the money, right? So that means the dentist bears the blunt of the whole the process or the amount of work that is needed to produce that much money. And if you're the only dentist, or if you're two dentists, then they're just trying to make sure that they will fill your schedules. But again, there is a tiny thing here, that which is what decides how much is a production goal. And second thing is what kind of insurances are being taken in that office. Now, what decides a production goal is based on how many people are working in that clinic, how many hygienists are there, how many assistants are there, how many dentists are there, how much you're producing. Again, you would not have to worry about it. No one is going to, when you are interviewing or when you are in a clinic, no one is going to actually tell you, okay, production goal is blah, 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 and we will expect you to produce this much. That is not the conversation, at least when I was interviewing at different clinics, and no one ever had that conversation. It is something you realize when you're actually working in a clinic, in a private office or a DSO. Second is insurances. Why insurance is really important, and I would actually put a lot of stress on that knowledge of insurances. Go to ADA website, read about insurances, ask our faculties about insurances, because at least in my school we were not really informed much about insurances. So coming out of the dental school, you have no idea about different insurances, and I really feel that it is something that you should, or we should have been told about. Why? Because imagine you are in a Medicaid insurance office, right? So Medicaid insurance office means a state is paying for the patient's welfare, patient's treatments, and that means that depending on the states, and their laws, the reimburse, it's like your claims might get denied if the state is very strict on approving the budget, your treatment plans, or the state is very lenient, right? So what can happen is, in a Medicaid office, if you decide that, okay, I'll be on production or I'll be on collection, then there is a tiny bit problem there. Why? Because you might see 15 patients in a day, you might treatment plan 15 patients in a day, but the amount of patients whose treatments are getting approved by the state might be different, again depending on state to state. Some states you don't have any issues, some states you have. That means when you graduate out of dental school and when you are looking for an office, one thing that is important for you to know is what kind of a office is this? Is this Medicaid? Is this PPO? Is this capitation based? Is it for service, out of pocket? Everything you have to know, because that would decide on your contract what kind of a contract you want. And if you don't know about contract reviewing, please watch my previous video I made on reviewing your dental contracts. And it's really important to know the insurance when you are actually reviewing your contract. So if you are going to be in a Medicaid office, that means you do not want to be on collections or productions immediately. You want some good amount of time to understand how things work, what gets approved, what does not get approved. So you know what kind of patients, how you're going to convince them from the standard of care patients. Again, we as dentists have to be ethical. You cannot deny a treatment plan for a patient, or you cannot go to the route that I would not even tell my patient about this treatment plan because the treatment gets rejected. What I'm saying about knowing insurances is that you should know that these might get rejected. So I have to tell my patient in advance, right? But for you, why for you it's important is because you have to talk to the person, the director, or whoever is reviewing that contract with you, that if you want to be on production or collection immediately, or what kind of collection or production you want to be on, and if you want a daily minimum guarantee, because you still have to understand how things are going to work in that office. However, if it's a PPO, it's a different insurances, that's a different story. Now most of the DSOs accept every insurance under the sun, like literally every insurance. So they have in Medicaid insurance, they have those small insurances, they have every patient coming to you. So it's very difficult to keep a track on your insurance, like patient insurance. Again, that should not define your treatment plan, but it is for your own contract purposes that you should know. Are they Medicaid PPO? Are they Medicaid PPO capitation based? Or that is really important for you to know for your contract. So that is one thing with the DSO. You have to be really careful about when you're doing your contract. Second thing, like I mentioned, is about your office manager. You have to meet them in person, see if you are going to get aligned. Your way of working is aligned, because that is, again, you'll hear from a lot of people that a lot of patients kept putting in my schedule, and I could not work that much. I was running around from one chair to chair. Yeah, so that's how some office managers would be. They really are very strict on meeting the production goal, while some would be, it's okay, this doctor is new, we could not make much today, maybe next week, maybe next day, and they manage it that way. So again, office managers is a big component in the whole DSO system. And that means again for you is that if you are planning to join a DSO, you have to meet the office manager in person. You have to go to the clinic in person, see how many patients are there, see how the office manager is her goals are, and how strict or aggressive or chill she is in, or he is, in regards to making sure the production goals are met, because there is a production goal which mostly they don't tell anyone about. Third thing of working in a DSO, which I've heard from my friends, is again that your staff is going to get changed. Okay, your assistants are going to be moving around a lot. Maybe today you'll have someone, maybe third day you'll have someone, and it depends again from DSO to DSO. Some are in the pretty much in the model of like, you have one dental assistant and you'll work with them throughout. But do understand that it's very common at DSOs, because it's mostly business based, so they see what is profitable. That would mean that at times they would be shuffling their assistants, their hygienists. They might even ask you to go to different locations if it's in the same region. Those are the kind of things you have to talk to again during your interview, that are you comfortable with those kind of moving around. They might actually say, okay, we don't have a dentist in this area, we want you to go and cover, right? Those things are very common too, so you should know about that. And one last thing that I think that is very important when you're working at a DSO is about um, like, again, this actually comes down to the contracts about your restrictive covenants and everything. But be sure that what you want is there in a contract, because do understand that it's a whole corporate that's running the show, right? And they have a big legal team, and anything that's written in the paper, you cannot usually refute it if you've actually signed it. So with the DSO, those are the big problems, that they if you do not have anything in written, you cannot even like fight them very easily, because again, you did not review your contract with a lawyer, and I've mentioned that in my other video also. So if I have to like compile this whole thing and tell you that, summarize how is it to be working at a DSO, I would say it's like working at any other place. The only difference being that here you are working under a corporate, so your role as a dentist is not going to be different. You want to produce money, be it in a private office or it in a DSO. The only difference comes down to the insurances that they accept, which is a lot. The kind of pressure in some offices which you might be in because of their daily production goals, and the corporate is kind of pushing on the staff, so the staff is actually kind of pushing on you to make more money. And also, one good benefit, although I feel, is that if you are a newcomer, I mean a new grad, and you do not have much idea about how dentistry is done, or you want to have some kind of mentoring, that then in DSOs, some DSOs at least do give you that much time, and they do have mentoring opportunities. But again, all these conversations should not be done on the phone. I would advise anyone who's planning to join a DSO to go and meet the director or the office manager personally and see how things are run in a DSO. So my suggestion is to not just say no to DSO, because for some it might actually work. But the only reasons it should not work is that you did not like it, not just because you've heard bad things about a DSO. I think they are worth a try if your goals align with theirs, and you've made sure of the things that you want. So some DSOs are really good in for at least for initial few years of practice and building some confidence. If you have any more questions about working at a DSO or reviewing your contracts after watching my last video, just message here and I'll be happy to reply. Okay, bye bye.